Welcome back to Yerushalmi Bikkurim. We are Sheni Halacha Base. We are talking about equivalent dinim which are similar between Bikkurim, Truma, Maser Sheni. Now, first we'll talk about Bikkurim and Maser Sheni and the things that don't apply to Truma. So Yesh Maser or Bikkurim, you have something dinim which apply Maser Sheni and Bikkurim, Masha Ein Truma, which does not apply to Truma. What? Shamasa Bikkurim Tunin Havas Malkaim. You're allowed to use them after you brought them to Yerushalmi. Maser Sheni Bikkurim has to go to Yerushalmi. Unin Vidoi. And there's a whole Vidoi Maser which is said at Mincha of the 7th day of Pesach in year 4 and year 7 of the cycle. The person said, I've kept all the laws of Trumas, all the laws of Maasros, I've taken them out of my house. That's the whole Vidoi Maser. Right? It's not really a vidui of someone who's done an Avera, but it's someone, I've kept everything properly. It's a declaration, really. Okay? So there we are. So they require this declaration. And an Einen la'aleinu before Kvura is not allowed to eat them. Rav Shimon argues he allows a Cohen who's an Einen to eat Bikkurim. Okay. So let's see now. B'chayavin b'biur, right? Maser Sheni Bikkurim, you have to remove them, right? And Pesach of year 4, year 7, you have to remove them from your domain. You have to do the mitzvah biur. That's the Zman min Torah. The Chachamim said you should do it already erev of Yom Tov Rishon of Pesach. Okay. Either remember, there's two ways of biur. Either it's from your house, you give it to people who are entitled to it. The aniyim get their maser ani, etc. Right, or the biur is from the world, right, destroying them. Okay. Now, Rav Shimon Paiter, Rav Shimon says you don't have to remove Bikkurim from biur. You don't have to destroy Bikkurim, whatever. But I think now, if Maser Sheni or Bikkurim went into Yerushalmi, and then they left Yerushalmi, and they got mixed up with chulin, they forbid the whole mixture for eating until you bring that mixture back to Yerushalmi.
That was my question.
You hear that? So if it went into Yerushalmi and then it went out, and then it got in a mixture, it forbids the mixture until it's brought back into Yerushalmi. And then the Kohanim, whatever, can eat it, whatever. If it's Bikkurim, it would be the Kohanim. Because Yerushalmi, because they've gone into Yerushalmi, and you can't redeem and eat it outside. Now, whatever grows from them, Maser Sheni Bikkurim come into Yerushalmi and then left Yerushalmi, and they were sown outside Yerushalmi. These growths, Asurin Melachal, you cannot eat it. Yerushalmi, because they've gone into Yerushalmi, and you can't redeem it and eat it outside. Afla Zarim v'Afla Behema, whether for Israeli animals, Rav Shimon Matir, not the Israeli animals, Rav Shimon Matir. Rav Shimon allows it, the growth of Bikkurim to Israelim, and Gedule Maser Sheni to animals. Okay, so Rav Shimon allows various things. Now, the idea of bittul or Bikkurim, you need it usually 100 times against it. Maser Sheni, you only need a rov against it. Right? This bittul only helps if they got mixed up before they come into Yerushalmi. Once it got mixed up after going into Yerushalmi, it's not botel. As I said, it forbids the mixture of chulin, even the smallest amount. Because you can take it back to Yerushalmi. It's not botel because there is a solution. Take it back to Yerushalmi. Right? And it's called Dover Sheshna Materia and Afida Be'elef Lo Botel. Right? When something has a solution, then there's no nullification. Because there is a solution. Just take it back to Yerushalmi. So there's no bittul here. Okay. Harei Elu Maser. These are the dinim that apply to Maser and Bikkurim. Masha Ein Truma. Now we'll see. So these are what we've spoken about. Does not apply to Truma. Truma is permitted to the Kohen wherever. He doesn't need to say a declaration for it. A Kohen who is an Einen is allowed to eat it. He doesn't have to remove it from the world. It does not forbid the mixture, any mixture. With the smallest amount. There's a din of bittul and so on. How much you need? The gidulim don't asa, even if they go into shalayim. Right? The gidulim. So those dinim don't apply to truma. Okay. Yeah. Let's see now. the source in the Torah for each of the 4 dinim, what we said. So first of all, the first din in the Mishnah, that Maasim Bikurim need to be brought to the base of Mikdash. Then what are these? So Masrei Zeichem is a reference to Masa Behema, Masa Sheni. Trumas Yadchem is a reference to Harav Bikurim, which has got an expression of hand, of yad. He takes the basket from your hand, right? What about the 4th din in the Mishnah? We said Mas Sheni Bikurim, you need to do biur, chayavin bebiur. Dilsib biati hakodesh min habayis. I've removed the kodesh from the house, okay. And ad kedun master, that's all very well for Masa Sheni, that's called Kodesh in the Torah. But Bikurim inan, how do you know Bikurim? Rav Yaakov bar Acha v'shem Rav Elazar, it says with Biur of Master HaKodesh with a hey. So we learn HaKodesh HaElyon. Also the Kodesh referred to before Mashma, that's also included. And that's the Pasha Bikurim, which was said before this Pasha. So that is also included in the obligation of Biur. Right? It's like what's earlier on, the previous piece. And that's a reference to Bikurim. Okay. Yeah. Let's carry on. So unin vidoy, we said there's a declaration from Mas Sheni Bikurim. And you should say, I've removed the kodesh from the house. Ad Gedun, that's all very well from Masa Sheni. It's called Kodesh. Bikurim inayin. How do you know they all stand for vidoy with Bikurim? Kadam Rabbi Yaakov bar Acha v'shem Rav Elazar. It says HaKodesh. Again, we learn Ha'eliyah Mashma, they includes the previous Pasha, which is Bikurim as well. So Bikurim is included in the mitzvah Biur, and therefore we should say the same thing with Vidoy Master as well. Since it says HaKodesh, we learn Bikurim, which is said in the previous Pasha, is included in the Vidoy. Okay? Now, V'asurin, now what about the 3rd din in the Mishnah? V'asurin la'aynein, an aynein is not allowed to have Mas Sheni Bikurim. The Chassid says, la'achalti ba'aynein mimenu. I didn't eat from Master when I was an aynein, because it says mimenu is talking about HaKodesh, which is talking about the pasuk before, which was Mas Sheni, and aynein can't eat Mas Sheni. And when he says a vidoy and he says he kept all the dinim, then also he's saying that he was not over on the is of eating it ba'ninus. Ad Kadon, that's all very well Mas Sheni. Bikurim inayin. How do you know Bikurim is also asur to an aynein? HaKodesh, again, the same drush we had before. HaKodesh Eliyah Mashma. So HaKodesh going, anything here is going on what's earlier on as well. And Bikurim is also included in Kodesh. Therefore, the Issa Achila with Aynein, with Masa Sheni, applies to Bikurim as well. All 3 dinim are learnt. Biur, Chavas Bidoy, and the Issa Achila to an Aynein apply with Bikurim. The Bavli learns this one from another drosha. Right, the Bavli learns another source, the Biur and Issa Achila for an Aynein apply with Bikurim, because the Torah compares Bikurim to Masa Sheni. It says you shouldn't eat. You cannot eat in your gates. Right, it's in Yevamos and Gimel. And Trumas Yadcha is reference to Bikurim. So we learn from the connection of Hekesh, the Chiyuv Biur of Issa Achila of Aynein, mentioned Masa Sheni applies to Bikurim as well. Yerushalmi doesn't doubt on that because it says you can't earn a hekesh with something which is not written in the pasuk itself. Okay, let's carry on. Tenina. Now we said from that drasha we learned the Chiyuv Biur and Vidoy and Issa Achila of Aynein is not only with Maaseh but also Bikurim. Tenina, we've learned Kali Lemelai. We learned all these dinim and Rav Shimon Palik. Rav Shimon argues and he holds the Chiyuv Biur and Issa Achila wasn't said only for Maaseh, not for Bikurim. So in some dinim he says get a different din with Bikurim, and yet with Vidoy less Rav Shimon Palik, and in Vidoy he doesn't argue. The Mishnah doesn't bring his opinion about it. It sounds like he agrees. So at one minute he either holds the drasha or he doesn't. He seems to hold of it for some dinim but not for all of them. How can you tell me they all learn from the same drasha and he argues on some of it and agrees with some of it? How does that work? If he agrees to the drasha, he should apply it to all of them. So the Gemara answers, Vidoy, the Vidoy mentioned in the Mishnah with Bikurim, Zukriya. That's reading the Parsha Bikurim. Anyone who brings it has to read it. That's also called a Vidoy. But less Rav Shimon Palik, and this Vidoy, Rav Shimon doesn't argue. And that reading of the Parsha Bikurim is called Vidoy. The Chassid says, Vanisa V'amati, you should answer and say, before Hashem Elakacha. Vanisa is a nusach, it's like telling a story. And you say, before Hashem Elakacha, it's like a Torah's Vidoy. We find that Lashon also similarly with Vidoy's Master. Therefore, Shimon doesn't really argue what's written about the Mishnah. It says it needs a Vidoy. because the Mishnah is talking about reading the Parsha Bikkurim, and that also has a Parsha. Okay? We said they would forbid a mixture. Remember, if they went into Yerushalayim and then they came out, they made a mixture, they forbid the mixture. So the Mishnah, you cannot eat Masechet Bikkurim once they go into Yerushalayim and then they go out and they mix up with Chulin. They forbid the mixture Yerushalayim because they went into Yerushalayim. It's not permitted unless it comes back to Yerushalayim. Rav Shimon allows you to eat it outside. But Gizuleim, and the growths of Masechet Bikkurim that went into Yerushalayim and came out, that were sown outside Yerushalayim, they grew. Asurim Eleicha. You cannot eat the growths by Yerushalayim because they went into Yerushalayim. They're not permitted unless they go back. Rav Shimon allows you to eat it outside. Ve'af lezarim, and also give Bikkurim to Israelim. Ve'af lebehema, and give Masechet to animals. Rav Shimon permits it. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is the makar for the Pshat of the Mishnah? First, we'll look at Rav Shimon. First of all, he allows the growths of Bikkurim to Israelim and growths of Masechet to animals. So let's see. What's the Chachamim's view? The Chachamim agrees with Shimon that whenever the growths are permitted, the heter is for Israelim as well. So according to the Chachamim, Masechet and Bikkurim that were sown before they went into Yerushalayim, then they are permitted their growths even to Israelim, like growths of Masechet, which has not yet gone into Yerushalayim, then Israelim are allowed to have the growths of those Masechet. Chacham agrees with Shimon, for the fact that he asked them a question, and he said, do you not agree the growths of Bikkurim, where they've never gone into Yerushalayim, Shein Mutarin, that they are permitted, even with Achila Lezarim, for Israelim outside Yerushalayim? Do you not agree that they're permitted, even to Zarim outside if they've never gone in? And do you not agree growths of Masechet has never gone in? Animals are allowed to eat growths of Masechet outside Yerushalayim. So why do you forbid Masechet growths and Bikkurim once they've gone into Yerushalayim and come out? Why do you forbid it? Yesh mechitza. Is there such a thing of going outside the walls of Yerushalayim, forbidding Bikkurim for Israelim, la'achil hazarim? Yesh mechitza. Is there a din of going outside the walls, forbidding Masechet for animals, la'achil hasbehema? Kishem she'ein mechitza lezarim. There's no wall that forbids things for Israelim, so also it's always forbidden. Kach ein mechitza la'achil hasbehema. There's no going away outside a wall forbidding Masechet for animals, because la'elam is also for animal eating. So why do you want to ask the growths of Bikkurim Masechet which went in Yerushalayim and came out, and you don't forbid it when it never went in? Yeah, you want to forbid the growths when it went in and came out, but you don't want to forbid it when it never came in. So why should that be? The truth is, they say here, there's a lot of lengthy words in this, he says here. The question is clear. He says, do you not agree that growths of Bikkurim as mutter to Zorim, and they're mutter to animals if it's not gone in Yerushalayim? He could have said it in less words. Whether I guess it fits in with that, whatever. So what's the answer? Let's see what they say back to him. Rabbanan Amrim, but the Chachamim said back, they said Masechet and Bikkurim, which is permitted in Yerushalayim, is permitted eating in Yerushalayim also. So we treat it it's like where there's a solution for the Issur. You can go and take it back to Yerushalayim, so there's a way out. Therefore, just like we say, when something is permitted, it will be permitted. So if it got mixed up, I say it forbids a mixture, even kosher, even the smallest amount, right? An egg which is laid on Yom Tov is also, right? It might get mixed up with 50 eggs. They're all also. Why? Because after Yom Tov it will be permitted. So we don't rely on bittul now when after Yom Tov will be permitted. The same thing here. So just like the same thing, that which is permitted in Yerushalayim, they got mixed up beheta, I say would forbid a mixture even if it got mixed up kosher, even the smallest amount. Because you can eat it in Yerushalayim. So why rely on bittul when you can eat it in Yerushalayim? Yeah? But this is only if it's gone into Yerushalayim and came out. Now what is the difference then if it never went in? Why should that be different? You're telling me, well, if it's outside Yerushalmi, it's a meter outside. Well, don't rely on bittul, take it back in. But what happens if it never went in? Why is it we're relying on bittul then? If it never went in, we say no. Although, yes, you could take it to Yerushalmi. It might be you're standing here, you're standing a meter outside the walls. You never went into Yerushalmi. You're standing a meter outside the walls. And then we say bittul. And yet, once you go in, we don't say bittul. So what's the difference? The Chachamim treat growth of Masechet Bikkurim like a mixture of Masechet Bikkurim and Chulin. They forbid the growth when it's gone into Shalim. At the end of the day, it's tircha, it's a bother. Yes, you have to bring it in. It's a bother to get it to Shalim. Once it's got there, it's come out, just take it back. But I suppose the idea generally, you might be far away. The tircha to Shalim, to get you to take it there is a long way. Now, it's all very well that this Davar Sheyesh L'Matir, why we forbid the growth for Kohanim, for Bikurim, or people Masechet, because they're mutter after they'll come back to Yerushalmi. Now, why they forbade it, the growth to Zorim, let's say to Bikurim, that will never be permitted, even if... Now, it's all very well, when you take it back to Yerushalmi, Kohanim can eat it. But Israelim can never eat it. Say Bikurim, they got mixed up. They could never eat it. So why don't we say bittul for them? You hear that? It's all very well saying, well, you can bring it back to Yerushalmi. Yeah, but then the Kohanim can eat it. But Israelim can never eat it. You have to say, because by taking it to Yerushalmi, someone will be permitted, the Kohanim will be able to have it. It's treated as Davar Sheyesh L'Matir, even as far as animals and Israelim as well. That's what you have to say, even though Israelim won't be able to eat it. All right, let's carry on. Now, the discussion between Rosh and Rabbanan. Ma'apligin, what's the argument of Rosh and Rabbanan? Begudulin, with growth. Our be'erevin, if you've got a mixture, Rosh agrees the smallest amount forbids a mixture. Therefore, he answered to them only as far as growth and tarubas, but not mixture. Ma'abein erevin, ma'abein gedulin. What's the difference between mixture and gedulin, growth? Erevin, ba'ainin hen. When it's a mixture, the original thing is still there. It's still there. The gidulin, but growth, the original one has already been nullified. You've only got what grew out of it. Therefore, the gidulin, when something new, there's no reason to forbid it. That which we said, Rosh agrees to the Chacham with a mixture, that is only be'eruve maser, mixtures of maser sheni. Of be'eruve bikurim, mixtures of bikurim, he does not agree. Right? He holds gidurin. They are permitted like new growths with bikurim. As we learned, bikurim going into Yerushalmi does not. Does not forbid a mixture or the growth from eating it once because it's left to Yerushalmi. He doesn't forbid when it comes to the growth of bikurim. So what's the difference? Why is there a difference then between the mixture of maser sheni and bikurim? Why is there a difference? So he says maser sheni, which got mixed up with chulin, aliyah. There's now maser sheni get mixed up with chulin. You don't have to separate out what fell in, right? You don't have to lift out of the mixture the amount that fell in. Bikurim mixed up with chulin, yesh le'en aliyah. You have an obligation to take out from the mixture the amount that fell in. And Rav Shimon holds, when you've taken it out, the share that fell in, we treat it as no longer mixed up with the bikurim at all, and therefore you can eat it like chulin. Whereas truvas and maser sheni, since you're not taking any out, the maser sheni is still inside, and therefore it is osur. So we see from the fact that Rav Shimon agrees to the Chachamim, so he agrees with maser sheni, something where you don't take it out. It's still be'en, it forbids the mixture. And Rav Shimon agrees to the Chachamim, but when with Bikurim you did take one out, yeah, for the sake of Bikurim, let's say you had 100 of Chulin, and one of Bikurim fell in, and you picked one up. You have to take that within the walls of Yerushalmi, and you have to get benefit from it. Don't allow it to rot outside Yerushalmi. We treat it as proper Bikurim. So that one you've separated out the mixture, treat it as Bikurim. The Chachamim said, all the 101 in the mixture are forbidden. They all have to go within the walls, and you have to make sure you get benefit from all of them. Don't allow it to rot before you take it to Yerushalmi. Now I bring a story about a din of our Mishnah about growths of Bikurim and Masechet. So let's see the story here. Rabbi Yochanan, Azal Lachalata. He comes to a place. Amma, he said, I'm not Ben Azai Dahacha. I'm like Ben Azai in this place. Any question you want to ask, I will answer. Imagine as if Ben Azai was here. So what happens? Asa Chadsav Shale, an elder comes and asks him the following contradiction. Amma, and the elder said, we've learned, this is his question now. Amma, the elder says, right, we learned in Trumas, Gidule Truma, growths of Truma are Truma. And Gidule, you went and sown those growths back in the ground. The new growth is Chulin. And the Mishnah mentions other Isurim which are different from Truma. Avol Tevel and Masa Sheni and Masa Rishon, where you hadn't separated Trumas Masa from it. Or Sviche Shviz, the extra growth to grow during Shmita. Or Trumas Chuzlaretz, B'Hamaduma, a mixture of Truma and Chulin, B'Habikurin, or Bikurin, all these, if they were sown in the ground, Gidulem Chulin, the growths that grow are Chulin and permitted. Tamar, in Trumas, we say, you said the growth of Masa Sheni and Bikurim is permitted. Mutarin. But in our Mishnah in Bikurim, as Amar Gidulei and Asurin, you're saying the growths are forbidden. So are the growths forbidden or are they permitted? Right? He learnt in the Mishnah, Gidulei and Asurin, you can't eat the growth. Yerushalmi sounds like they're asked to eat because you are chayav to eat in Yerushalmi, and all growths of Bikurim Masechet is like the main thing where they came from. It's also to eat outside Yerushalmi, like Bikurim and Masechet. So that goes against Mishnah of Trumas, which says growth of Bikurim is like Chulin. Okay, so what's the problem? Why is there a problem? So Rabbi Yochanan answers back to the elder. Under 10, we said Gidulei, and the growth of Bikurim is mutarin, is permitted. That's B'davar Shazari Kala. Something which disintegrates. The seed disintegrates into the ground before the new growths grow up. And therefore, there's nothing tangible of the original Bikurim here. And therefore, it's permitted. But the same with that which we said, Gidulei and Asurin, the growths of Bikurim are forbidden, B'davar Shazari Kala, but the seed does not disintegrate before the new growths come out. Right? The main thing lasts and the growths are gathering together, and therefore there's a mamoshas of Bikurim, Masechet, and that's why it's awesome. So it depends what seeds we're talking about. Does it disintegrate or not? So the elder said back to Rabbi Yochanan, but we learned in Trumas, what sort of things the seed doesn't disintegrate? It takes of onions and garlic. Now, wait a minute. Are you chayv Bikurim in these things? You're not. How can you say our Mishnah is talking about growth that grew from something which the seed didn't disappear? Bikurim, Bikurim is only coming from the minim from where the seeds do disappear. So it doesn't come from things like onions and garlic and so on. So the elder saw that Rav Yochanan wasn't answering his question. He said, I don't think you're Ben Azai, my friend. Azar Ben Azai Da'acha is gone from this place. You are not great like Ben Azai. Wow. You are not great like Ben Azai. Asa Shah, Rav Yochanan asked the question to Rav Yana, his teacher. Rav Yana said, the words of the Mishnah, the growths are also the Masa Hushva. The growths are forbidden as far as Masechet it was said. And therefore, the Mishnah is not talking only with Davar She'ein Zarei Kala. The Mishnah was only talking, we can explain it the way you wanted to answer. We're only talking about things where the seeds do not disappear. Now, Rabbi Yochanan was quiet, huh?
So you're saying rather Bikurim would be allowed?
Yeah, so
Masechet was saying.
Masa is different, yeah. Masechet, Masa Hushva. Masechet was only said the growths are forbidden. And it's talking about a case where the seed carries on. Rabbi Yochanan was quiet when he heard this. It sounds like he agrees. So he wants to say, wait a minute, if he agrees to what he just said, we've got a problem. But how she does it, Rabbi Yochanan, then the view of Rabbi Yochanan here goes against his view elsewhere. Tama. Now, in Kalim, the Mishnah there says, Perak Aleph Halacha base, the Mishnah base, it says, if you carry a dead animal, a nevela, or you carry the red heifer water, mechatas, and you've got the amount which is fitting for sprinkling, and you and your clothes become tamei if you carry it. But if you touch it, you are tamei, but not your clothes. If you touch it, you become a rishon, and that's not enough to be tamei the clothes that you're wearing at that time. And Yerushalmi Levi said, the last words of the Mishnah, Lekana sham nevela hushva, they were only said as far as, let's say, carrying the horn of nevela, but not as far as other limbs, or not as far as the red heifer waters. So this din was only said as far as the nevela, that one who carries it, then everything is tamei. Touching it is only him and not the clothes. So he said this din, not as far as other things, because with the other things, even if you touch it, your clothes are tamei. Yeah? With the other things, let's see this again. It was only said as far as nevela, but not by other limbs, because with others, even if you touched it, your clothes are tamei. That's what he wants to say here. 1 minute. He's answering a stira in Kalim, to Sefta, okay. Let's see. Now, Amar le Rav Yochanan. Rav Yochanan answered back, Like Ilfan, did you not teach us that the last wording of the Mishnah is V'chasuche begadim? They stop the clothes from becoming tamei through touching. Basically, chasuche is in plural. So the Mishnah seems to be implying we're talking about two different things, the shnayim. Two situations of tumah mentioned in the first part of the Mishnah. There's nevela and the mechatas. That has enough for sprinkling. Now, from what you're saying now, the Mishnah is talking about nevela on its own, but why did it use the plural expression if we're only talking about nevela? Right? He said it's in plural. It can't be only nevela, it must be talking about other things. Right? You shouldn't use the Lashon Rabbim if you're only talking about one thing. But now, if that's what Rabbi Yochanan said there, so he didn't like to use the plural when you're talking about one thing. So the same thing here. Now, Rabbi Yochanan should also say here, it says in our Mishnah, their growths are forbidden. In the plural, must be two things, talking about Bikkurim and Masechet. And yet, Rabbi Yochanan agrees with Rabbi Yanai, he said we're only talking about Masechet. But it's in plural, it should be plural, it should be applied to both. That's a very good question on Rabbi Yochanan. So he says here in the notes, so the contradiction comes back. If you touch a nevela or mechatas, you're going to move it, you're going to be tamei avatuma, you'll be tamei your clothes like the Tosefta, and the Mishnah in Kalim says you're not tamei your clothes. So Marie Korkus wants to say that the din in the Mishnah is where the skin of nevela mechatas, which are maybe hardened, and by touching it, you're not necessarily moving them. They're like ice. Therefore, it's not an avatuma. But the Tosefta, where it says you're automatically going to move it, is like a skin of an animal mechatas, which is not hardened. You definitely move it by touching it. It becomes an avatuma. All right, let's carry on. Now, Rav Yana explained that the din of the Mishnah that growths are also is only with Masechet where the seeds are still around. And Rav Yochanan can't really hold this, the Gemara said. The Gemara, we're going to ask on Rav Yanai. But we're going to ask on Rav Yanai because it says, you cannot eat outside Yerushalayim, Masa Degancha. But Masa, what's the tradition of Masa Amr? Where do we say this pasuk? But Masa Sheni HaTahar. Masa Sheni, which is Tahar, Shenechnas Yerushalayim V'yatza. So it's gone into Yerushalayim and it's come out. If it didn't go into Yerushalayim ever, or it came out tamei, we don't say this issur. And this pasuk tells me the issur of eating Masa Sheni outside Yerushalayim. So the Masa, which is made from Degancha, which are seeds which do disappear, and Mishnah, which would forbid, because of this issur forbidding the mixture and the growths, is also talking about things where the seeds disappear. And it's not like Rabbi Yanai, who said we talk about things where the seed does not disappear, because it seems to be we talk about things Degancha where the seeds do disappear. And furthermore, from this price, the Tani like we learned Rav Shimon, Rav Shimon, Yesh b'Masa, there are dinim that apply to Masa Sheni and not with Truma. Masa Sheni, I said Damav, it forbids its value for redemption, right? The money with the money you use to buy Maser Sheni gets Kedushas Maser Sheni, right? That's what happens. So you have to take the money to Yerushalayim and buy food with it, yeah? The money gets the Kedusha off the food. So we see Yesh B'Maser, Shamasa, I said Damav, it forbids the mixture, if the money takes Kedusha, Ve'eruvav, and any mixture of it, Be'kamkanav, and any containers, where the kankanim are bottled to the Maser Sheni, which is inside, they get Kedushas Maser Sheni in certain cases, right? Okay, and also even Safek, you got a Safek Yeruva with a mixture, Koshu, it forbids a mixture if you have a Safek, a tiny bit got mixed up in Chulin, whole mixture is forbidden. You can't use it for fuel or for light candle. So all these dinim apply with Maser Sheni and don't apply with Truma. Now the Brisa says, if you got a Safek, if you got mixed up Maser Sheni, it forbids the whole mixture. Why don't we say the same thing with gross of Maser Sheni? Right? We're not going to be machmir with a Safek of mixture, Kolshu Maser Sheni, more than the growths of a seed which has not disappeared. Basically, the Brisa forbids the Safek, this mixture. If it's got a Safek, it may have got in a mixture. So it will forbid growths where the seeds are even if the seeds have disappeared, you should still forbid the growths, basically. And therefore, the Mishnah that forbids growth of Maser Sheni, it could probably mean growth even where the seeds have disappeared, it'll still be forbidden. And not like Rav Yana. Rav Yana wanted to say, it's only talking about the seeds which don't disappear. But we're saying, no, if you forbid the growth, you forbid all these things, you'll forbid the growth even if the seed does disappear. So the Gemara actually pushes away the answer of Rav Yana, and says Rav Hila explains differently the stira between the Mishnayos and the din of Maser Sheni and Bikkurim. Rav Hila, Hans the Tema that which he says Gidulei and Asurin, the growth of Bikkurim is forbidden, is Rabbanon. And Hans the Tema that which he says in Trumas Gidulei and Mutarin, the growth of permitted is Rav Shimon. So there's actually different views, right, whether the growths are forbidden or not. Amrullah, the Chacham answers back to Rav Hila, but in Inan, in the last part of the Mishnah in Trumas, it says, Gidulei Hekdesh or Maser Sheni, right, Chulin, the din is like Chulin, gross of Hekdesh, and Maser Sheni is like Chulin, or Paida Eisen, you have to redeem them based on the value of Bizman Shazaran when you sowed them, right, at the time when you sowed it. Now, why are you redeeming it? It's because of the Kedusha. Had they had no Kedusha, you wouldn't redeem it. It must be there's holiness here. So here is when our Mishnah, gross of Maser Sheni, Yitzanu Mechitza. They should require bringing within the walls V'vnei Kedusha Sheyesh Bahen, because the Kedusha they have. Why is Rav Shimon allowing you to eat it outside Yerushalayim? It must be the Mishnah in Trumas wasn't according to his view. It's like the Tanna Kama in our Mishnah. So the question comes back. Our Mishnah says the Tanna Kama forbid the gross of Maser Sheni, and there it says the gross are permitted. So Gemara brings another answer to explain the stira. Rav Yehuda, Rav Ibn Shem Rish Lakish. When we say the growth of Bikkurim, Gidulei, and Asurin, it's to Mechitza. Because they've come into Shalim and they've gone out, the growths are forbidden if they've not been brought back in. And they're only permitted if they never actually went into Shalim. So again, it's this idea they've come in. Once they come in, they are also, if they go out, they become also. Right? He says, growths of Bikkurim Maser Sheni are like a mixture of the other Isurim. The growths are also to eat outside Yerushalayim. If Bikkurim Maser Sheni had already gone into Yerushalayim and come out, again, Davar Shesh Material is not bottle. Alright. Mahanda Tema, that which we say, Gidulei Mutarin, in Trumas the growths are permitted, that is Hetzazoros. The growths of Bikkurim which went into Yerushalayim and went out, and then afterwards came back, they're permitted to be Israelim. And growths of Maser Sheni that will come in and go out are permitted to be given to the animals. So we're talking about the Heta Pazaros here. The growths of Bikkurim which went into Yerushalayim and went out and then came back in, they are permitted for Israelim. Okay. Now these didn't apply, we said with Maser and Bikkurim. Mashain came with Truma, as opposed to Truma. Now one of the differences we said is this declaration, the vidui, which applies to Maser Sheni Bikkurim but not with Truma. Taman Tzadidan, in Maser Sheni we've learned with Vid of Maser Sheni, V'gam Netativ, V'gam, we learn Zu Truma, Trumas Maser, I've given Trumas Maser. So there is a Vid and Truma. Taman, in Masasheni Atama Truma to Una Vidoi, you say there is a declaration for Truma, but Hacha Atama here you say Truma into Una Vidoi. Amravila, Tani Taman, we learned that in the Brisa, Mase and Bikurim, Echad and whether you give it and then you take them to Una Vidoi, you need a declaration. Truma is only if you give it. Naisna, the owner that separates it to Vidoi has to make a declaration. But Naidla, the one who takes it, the Cohen, ain't ton Vidoi. He does not have to say Vidoi. So Amish is talking about a Vidoi of the taker. So it says the one who takes Masechet Bikkurim needs a Vidoi. The Cohen who takes Truma, doesn't, the one who Noitel doesn't take say Vidoi. The Mishnah Masechet is the Vidoi of the giver, not the taker, but the giver. And the Truma Masechet, therefore it says the one who gives Truma needs to say Vidoi. Rav Zira gives another answer. Rav Zira, Rabbana Da'achin Amrin, the Chachamim here in Bavel, they said, Mishi Yeshleit Maaseh B'fnei Atzmai. If you have Maaseh Sheni on his own, Vizvade, you say Vidoi. Or if you only have Bikurim. But if you have Truma on its own, Mishi Yeshleit Truma B'fnei Atzmai, Eino Vizvade. You don't say Vidoi. The Vidoi is not Chal only on the Truma. It's going to be on something else. Whereas the Mishnah in Maaseh Sheni is talking about a person on his Maestros, and because of that Vidoi, you include Truma as well. Truma, you can't have a Vidoi on its own. If you're saying on Masasheni, you also include the video on Truma as well, but not Truma on its own. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi Masnisa Amrakei. The Mishnah says this. We learned Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi said, "Kainim Alavim to say vidui because Yesh Lehen Arei Migdash. They have their cities of refuge. Remember the 48 cities the Levim had, and Kainim also had some. Man Akiyom. What are we talking about? What vidui is it? Truma and Masa, and therefore they say they give vidui. They did vidui. That can't be. Truma Master Rishon, they separate, they keep it. Shalayeh. They don't have to give it to anyone else. Right? Even this one bill, they don't have to remove it from the house. And therefore, there's no video shaykh. The video is only when you have the mitzvah bill, maestros, and the maestros doesn't stay in your house. Ella, kiyanan kayamin. What are we talking about? The Master Sheni Bikkurim. The video of a Cohen is Master Sheni Bikkurim. These, he has to remove them from his world at the time of bill. And since Rabbi Yossi is Machayev the Cohen to say a vidoi because of his chiyuv to remove the Master Sheni Bikkurim, so also someone who has Master Sheni Bikkurim on their own, and hasn't got Truma, he still has to say this vidoi declaration, and that's the way Rav Zira explained it. Rav Hila said, Rav Hila now pushes this away. He says, Shemana, look, we've learned in the Mishnah, Mish Yeshle Master B'fnei Atzmai. You got Master on its own, fair enough. Mizvada. Mish Yeshle Bikkurim B'fnei Atzmai. Mizvada. Okay, just for Bikkurim, fine, you say the declaration. However, Shemanon, have we ever learnt? Mish Yeshle Truma B'fnei Atzmai Eino Mizvada. We never said there's no video for Truma. There's no raya from the Mishnah. Don't bring a raya from the Mishnah from Zira. The main chidush here, that on Truma there's no video. I mean, maybe not. There's no raya from the Mishnah to what Rav Zira is saying. Okay?
What if you only had Bikkurim?
If you only had Bikkurim, it could be there's a video. But, see, Rav Zira wanted to say, Masa on his own video. Truma on his own, don't say video. So he's saying, who says? There's no raya. We can't bring a raya from Mishnah to Rav Zira. The main din is on Truma you don't say. So he says here, he proves on the Mishnah like Zero. He wasn't worried about the question. He held, look, it doesn't say clearly that you can say video on Truma on its own. So the main thing is, maybe you can't do it. He says the reason is the nus of the video. You're mentioning all the matanos kohuna, so you're giving a video on the matanos, not on some of them. The Mishnah says that there are exceptions where you can say a video on them on their own, and that's Master Sheni Bikkurim. But don't apply that to other matanos. It could be only on them they have this chiddush, that they have a video on its own. Okay. To be continued, Rabbi Isai.